Two passionate renditions of the national anthems from the Serbian and Danish fans inside the stadium in Munich. A reminder of the two teams once again. One change for Denmark from that draw with England. Alexander Barr coming back into the side wide on the right-hand side. Victor Christensen is the player who makes way. It is Schmeichel in goal, Anderson, Christensen and Vestergaard the back three. Barr, Hjulmand, Højbjerg and Mæhle across midfield, with Eriksson in behind, Højlund and Vind in attack. Three changes for Serbia. Nemanja Gudeli, Serdar Mijalovic and Lazar Smazic come into the team. Dusan Vlahovic, Dusan Tadic and Filip Radanovic are the players who make way. It's the first competitive game for Mijalovic in 12 years, and Gudeli does have the experience from across Europe to bring back into the side. Rajkovic in goal. It is Veljkovic, Milinkovic and Pavlovic for back three. Mijalovic wide on the right-hand side, Ilic and Gudeli in midfield, Zivkovic on the left, with Lukic and Samazic behind Mitrovic in attack. Francois Letexier of France is the referee. Bastian Dankert of Germany is the VAR official, and the two captains, Schmeichel and Mitrovic, meeting in the centre circle on a warm evening. And supporters of both teams have been inside the stadium for a long time. Of course, a draw should be enough for Denmark. 3 points with a 0 goal difference, you would imagine, would be at least enough for a third place finish. But Serbia, who start this game bottom of the group, really have to win. I don't think 2 points would be enough for them. Alexander Mitrovic just taking some water before the game. Novak Djokovic is here in the stands watching, wearing his Serbian shirt. Maybe they're wearing all white in his honour this evening, and he was down on the pitch side before kick-off, geeing up his fellow countrymen. Of course, he has that winning mentality. Will Serbia's footballers be able to show that here this evening? The final night in Group C at UEFA Euro 2024. England against Slovenia, over on TalkSport. Here on TalkSport 2, it is Denmark against Serbia. Already today, Austria winning their group ahead of both the French and the Dutch. They won 3-2 against the Netherlands in Berlin. France dropping points in a 1-1 draw against eliminated Poland. So Austria, in a really tough group, have come out on top against two true European powerhouses. That was the story in Group D, and we will see what unfolds here in Group C this evening. And it's Denmark, wearing all red, who will get the game underway, defending the goal away to our right in the first half. They need a point, Serbia need a win, as Denmark look to build in the central area with Højbjerg, who made his professional debut in this stadium for Bayern Munich before moving on to a long career now in the English Premier League. Vestergaard, who won the title in the Championship with Leicester this season, wide towards Christensen on this near side, and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Of course, Serbia, they have to go for it here, but maybe you can go for it too soon.
Yes, certainly. There's, it's a long time to play. I say 90 minutes. A game's never 90 minutes now, is it? So there's a lot of time for them to feel into the game, work out which way is best to attack. Obviously, they'll have done that with the analysis and tactics before, but I always felt as a player, once you get on the pitch, it's a different feel. So they can get on the pitch now, see how they feel within the game, and I think you feel those moments as well, when to put your foot on the gas, when to sit back a little bit. And football is always a game of momentum, but you certainly don't have to go out and win it in the first 5 minutes.
Barr plays the ball in field to Hjulmand, who scored that spectacular goal, voted the goal of the round by UEFA against England to equalise. Now Højbjerg, high ball forward, looking for Højlund, and in the end it's cleared away, and Serbia have their first real opportunity to enjoy some possession.
I think that's going to be something that Denmark are certainly going to look to do, though. Serbia tend to play quite a high line. We know that Højlund's got some pace, they've got the quality, both playing out from the back and in the midfield, Denmark, to find those long balls, so I'm not surprised to see that early on in the game.
And now Joachim Andersen of Crystal Palace waves away the shorter options and has to go all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel, winning his 104th cap for Denmark this evening. Of course, his father won the European Championships against Yugoslavia, or because of Yugoslavia's absence from Euro 92. And this is Serbia's first tournament as a wholly independent nation, although a number of Serbian players were key parts of Yugoslav teams which have done well in this competition in the past. As Højlund looks to challenge on the far side, then holds on to Milinkovic, and it will be a free kick for Serbia by the corner flag on their left.
Yeah, and just a little bit too aggressive from him, and early on in the game you're just trying to find that balance, but the way that Denmark play that high press, trying to put players into corners, they'll attack and defend both as units, and it's an important start to try and win the ball back in that corner, and when you give a free kick away in that sort of area, it's not too detrimental.
Denmark dramatically won their final game 3 years ago, and they played all their group games at home in Copenhagen, beating Russia 4-1 to move from the bottom of their group to second place, having lost their opening 2 games to Belgium and Finland. And of course they had to deal with Christian Eriksen's illness as well, as Højlund looks to win a free kick on the far side, and he was taken down by Milinkovic, and Francois Le Tessier shows the first yellow card to Nikola Milinkovic.
Well, and rightly so. He's pulling him back, got hold of the top of his shirt. See Højlund, the way he comes back, it's almost like a clothesline. But I think now, just under 4 minutes in, already on the yellow card.
A long time to manage it.
It's a very, very long time.
And the Fiorentina central defender is the first into Francois Le Tessier's book. And it's a free kick for Denmark with 4 minutes played on TalkSport 2. 0-0. Eriksen is over this. No one's created more chances than him in the opening 2 games in the Euros. Of course, he scored their opening goal against Slovenia. And all of the big men are forward as well to try and attack this, but Eriksen plays it low to Vind with a shot. And it was a clever move, but a push on Mitrovic in the centre saw the free kick awarded even before the shot from Vind was comfortably gathered by Rajkovic.
And it's a clever one, the way it's just arrowed into the feet of Vind, and he does well initially. Obviously he's expecting it, he gets himself on the half turn, gets the shot off. He's not to know what's happening in the box, but that's one of those free kicks now, they can't use it again. So the deliveries now, we're probably going to see them into the box, into the big target players.
Mitrovic just labouring for a second. He was backed into there by Yannick Vestergaard, and there was almost a wrestling throw there from Mitrovic inside his own penalty area, but he got the free kick.
Yeah, certainly, and I think he's a little bit lucky. Vestergaard obviously is a giant, isn't he? So when he does go into, he come down with a bit of a crash, but I think Mitrovic certainly made the most of it, and then putting hands on Vestergaard on the way down. With VAR now, I think that was a little bit of a dangerous game.
Still goalless in the match in Cologne between England and Slovenia over on TalkSport. Really good night again to download the TalkSport app if you haven't already done so, and you can go to the live commentary section and swipe between the 2 games currently underway. A dramatic double-header earlier on in Group D, with Austria taking the lead against the Netherlands 3 times and eventually winning 3-2, and they've won the group because a late penalty from Robert Lewandowski denied Kylian Mbappe and the French a victory. So Austria, France and the Netherlands going through. The Netherlands could face England. We'll see how things eventually pan out if England win the group. Austria will play the second team in Group F, which at the moment is Turkey, but things can change tomorrow night. And the French will meet the second in Group E, which, who knows, could be Belgium. All four teams in that group starting the final round level on points. But that's a real surprise, but Ralf Rangnick has set his team up superbly in all the games they played so far. Now Hjulmand looking to hold off the challenge on the far side of Lukic, and he does so, and there's some real physicality in the opening 7 minutes here, 0-0.
Yeah, both teams at times like to high press, can be aggressive. I think Denmark get it right more often than Serbia because they go as a unit. I think sometimes with Serbia maybe the front three go, one of the midfielders, but sometimes get caught out in a little bit of indecision. But it certainly started this game at a very good pace. It's a little bit frantic, but as we expect, Denmark now starting to carry more possession of the ball.
Eriksson tries to bring it forward, but he's quickly closed down by Pavlovic. And now Ilic will go wide towards the far side again. And Mijailovic, who is playing his first competitive game for Serbia in 12 years. And that was a 3-0 loss against Belgium in the World Cup qualifiers back in 2012. Kevin De Bruyne scored that day. And of course he scored in this competition as well, as a high ball is played forward towards Mitrovic, but it's headed away by Anderson.
And Mitrovic is always dangerous. Good season with Al Hilal. Won the Saudi Pro League, and everyone will have their thoughts about that in terms of the quality of that league, but still, your confidence as a forward, you're playing well, you're putting the ball in the back of the net, and that's all that matters for him.
And he played alongside Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, who is on the bench this evening. 40 goals in 43 games for Alexander Mitrovic in Saudi Arabia, overshadowing Cristiano Ronaldo and Al Nassr, who have a number of players involved in this tournament as well. As a high ball is played forward for Serbia again, and it's flicked on by Mijailovic, but Denmark quickly regain possession. And their coach Kasper Hjulmand is watching on, marshalled his team superbly on and off the field during the previous Euros, dealing with the situation, the illness for Christian Eriksen, and guiding his team all the way through to the semi-finals. And Pavlovic on the far side for Serbia, further forward from Zivkovic, looking for Mitrovic, but if it doesn't stick with him, there's no one else anywhere near him.
Yeah, and that's the problem. At times Serbia work so hard, they're aggressive in the press to win it back, but for me give possession away too poorly, and that's what's got to change within this game for them going forward. I think they need an extra one or two passes before they try and find Mitrovic. It's too direct at the moment.
Samardzic and Lukic are the two players playing behind Mitrovic, and they need to get closer to him. 10 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Point for Denmark should be enough to send them through. At the moment it would be enough to send them through ahead of Slovenia on the various tiebreakers that come into play, although they've got the same number of goals, same number of points and same goal difference at the moment, so it will go to disciplinary points and even the performances in the qualifiers. And Denmark finished above Slovenia in their group on goal difference. It could even come down to that. But I think both teams should go through if they maintain their current position. Hungary looked the most vulnerable side with 3 points but a -3 goal difference as Serbia try and come forward now. It was poked forward by Lukic on the far side, looking for Zivkovic, but overhit and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't mind that little piece of play. Initially the ball goes into Mitrovic at the centre of the park, and he does really well to lay it off. One touch finish to Lukic, and as soon as he does that, you see he's sprinting towards the goal, and Zivkovic, you know what they're thinking, get the ball into him, play that wide. Can he cross it in? Can Mitrovic try and get it in the back of the net? But the ball into Zivkovic was far too heavy.
Well, Emmanuel Gudeli has come into midfield tonight, replacing Dusan Tadic. That should give the more forward-minded players a bit more license to get forward, because he will be the defensive screen. And he's involved here, and he's hauled down by Højlund. It will be a free kick. And Gudeli Now with Sevilla, a very experienced player, had a long time with Ajax in the Eredivisie as well, also had a spell in China. As Bielkovic brings the ball out of the back three for Serbia, but now they give the ball away, but Bielkovic has it back again, and it's wide to the far side. And Milinkovic, the one player who's been booked in the game so far. 12 minutes played, Denmark 0, Serbia 0. At the end of Group C, on TalkSport 2 at Euro 2024, Rajkovic with a long ball forward. Mitrovic never got off the ground, beaten to it by Christensen, but Mijalovic on this near side tries to bring it forward, but Miela quickly gets to him, and Denmark want the throw in with 12 and a half minutes played, right in front of their technical area. But it goes Serbia's way.
That long ball from the goalkeeper into Mitrovic, I understand why they're trying to play it. Normally he's so strong to either hold the ball up or in the air, but the problem is there's no one round him, so Christensen can easily get a leap on it. There's Vestergaard there, Anderson can come round and cover, and he needs bodies round him. Mitrovic, you mentioned it earlier, Nigel, and that's just another showing of it.
Mitrovic tries to bring the ball down on his chest, but it runs away from him. Miela looking to break for Denmark on this near side, the left, but the challenge comes in from Mijalovic, and it's a throw-in for Denmark. Miela into Eriksson, but he flicks it back in the general direction of Christian Eriksson, but Serbia have it back again. No goals in either game so far. England starting the night on top with 4 points, already guaranteed a place in the round of 16. Denmark and Slovenia with 2 points apiece, and Serbia bottom of the group, but they saved themselves in the final moments of added time against Slovenia with the header from Jovic when they were going out of the competition. Now Lukic wide to this near side, and Veljkovic. Samardzic, his first start in the competition here this evening. Ilic going back to Milinkovic, and both teams really cagey without the ball in the opening 15 minutes or so. But here is Samardzic now, one of the youngsters in the team. And support from the Fulham midfielder Sasa Lukic. The ball down the line on this near side, looking for Samardzic, has been cut out by Denmark, and now Eriksson will try and bring it forward down the left. The first time ball forward takes a deflection off Bielkovic, but does fall into the path of Højlund. And now Hjulmand in the centre circle, wide to the far side, and Bar back in field to Vind, and it's Denmark's turn to try and create the Højbjerg. Real tension in the game already with only 15 minutes played. Nyla coming forward for Denmark on this near side, back towards Christensen, and now Højbjerg again. Højbjerg looking to work it wide, but both teams are matched up in terms of formation, and it's a real game of chess at the moment as a result. Vind tries to flick it around the corner, but Serbia will break and clear. And here is Mitrovic now, all on his own, 3 red shirts around him, so he tries to go alone, but the giant figure of Vestergaard comes across to win it back for Denmark.
Yeah, and Vestergaard times that to perfection. Initially does really well. Mitrovic picks it up on the halfway line, goes past Anderson, no problem there. Wanted to try and do the same thing to Vestergaard. He's trying to poke it round to the right hand side and run the left, but Vestergaard just gets across and uses his body extremely well.
Now Højlund for Denmark down the left hand side. Naylor in support, high cross towards the far post, and a diving header coming in from Alexander Bar. He claims he was pulled down inside the penalty area. A goal kick has been given, and I think the Serbian defence gave that one up, and they didn't see Bar coming.
No, it's a very, very good, intelligent late run at that back post area. Zivkovic, there is a little bit of contact there. There was a bit of hand on the chest, I think, but it's one of those where I think he lets go just in time, and Bar's trying to make the most of it.
Well, if there was a check, it was a fleeting one, because the game is back underway once again. Samardzic wide to the far side, and here is Pavlovic for Serbia, and he's got time to loft it further wide, and Mihajlovic can now bring it forward for the Serbs, up towards the edge of the penalty area, but he's closed down, and Denmark quickly have it back themselves. Now Bar. Højlund making the run down the centre, but it's back to Højbjerg again. Nearly 17 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Denmark 0, Serbia 0, and it's still England 0, Slovenia 0 over on TalkSport. So England winning the group at the moment. But I'm sure they would like to do it in rather more convincing fashion than we've seen so far.
I think obviously there's been a lot of outside noise, hasn't there, about England and how convincing the performances have been, so I'm sure they'd love to put a lot of that to bed, put that to rest with a good performance in the last game in the group.
Kilman with a switch of play for Denmark to the left, and Mjela now can break into the penalty area, going towards the byline. The cross in low is deflected behind by Mihajlovic, and it will be a corner kick for Denmark.
It's positive, it's direct. I think Denmark so far, despite having a lot of possession of the ball, maybe been a little bit tentative, but I like that, taking a little bit of initiative, try and beat your opposite man and get the ball in the box.
Corner kick for Denmark on this near side. Eriksson will take it. Højlund, sweating profusely, will be one of the targets. It's into the near post, and it's headed up and away by Gudeli, and it will be another corner kick.
You can actually see the whip on that ball, because Gudeli, no one round him. He doesn't manage though to head it out for a throw-in, because he's got that much spin on it, almost comes off the top of his head and out for another corner.
Another corner for Denmark on this near side. 18 minutes played. Eriksson will take it. Eriksson whips it in, high to the far post. Rajkovic comes and makes a very simple claim. And you're listening to Euro Game Day live on TalkSport 2, presented by Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18+. Please drink responsibly.
From Eriksson there, he's had 2 bites of the cherry. One's been too short, one's been too long, so the next one is thinking third time lucky. Just needs to find the bodies a little bit better. That was too easy for Rajkovic to come and collect that.
Here is Højlund now for Denmark on the far side. Appeals for handball from one or two of these Serbian defenders as he brought the ball down on his chest. But in the end it has been cleared on the far side. It was handball from Rasmus Højlund, not spotted by the officials. Alexander Bar, the player brought into the team tonight, will take the throw-in on the far side. The Benfica midfielder in towards Vind, flicked on looking for Højlund, but headed away at the far post by Milinkovic. And now Eriksson guides it all the way back to Andreas Christensen inside the centre circle. 20 minutes played, 0-0.
I think Bar's been bright down that right-hand side. Obviously we mentioned he just about got his head to the cross from the left-hand side, but going forward, you see he's always on the front foot, ready to join the attack, and especially with Serbia playing 3 at the back, when that transition happens, if he can get down that right-hand side quickly and exploit the space in wide areas, could be very dangerous.
And of course, Serbia have a legend watching on tonight, Novak Djokovic, and also a legend coaching the team, Dragan Stojkovic, played for Yugoslavia in 2 Euros, scored in 1984 against the French in Saint-Etienne as a high ball is played forward for Denmark, headed away by Mihajlovic. And Stojkovic was also in the Yugoslav team, which lost 5-0 to Denmark in the group stage. The first real emergence of that great Denmark team in the 1980s, Laudrup, Elkjær, Olsen. And they had a really good tournament as it's given away now by the Serbs cheaply. Eriksson fires in the shot and it's turned aside by Rajkovic. And Denmark were presented with that 20 yards out. Højlund quickly on towards Eriksson, and it's a smart save from the Serbian goalkeeper.
Well, and this is where the high press works so well for Denmark. Yes, it's a mistake, but they're onto it quickly. Højlund making sure he's harrying, forcing the play backwards, and Eriksson then on the edge of the box. We know the quality he possesses, and it forced a very, very good save from the Serbian goalkeeper.
21 minutes played, 0-0. Another corner for Christian Eriksen on this near side. Swung in again. Rajkovic this time stays at home and hits Christensen on the head at the far post. It's loose inside the 6-yard area. Head tennis continuing. Hjulmand able to bring the ball down. Finds Eriksen. His first time shot is blocked. The second cross into the penalty area headed up in the air. Real chaos there at the far post as two Serbians collide. The goalkeeper Rajkovic and Sasa Lukic. And in the end the Fulham man heads it behind for another corner.
Well, that ball was certainly on the money. As I said, one short, one long, but that one was perfect. Lots of whipping it. Christensen managed to get on the ball, and then when it's recycled to Eriksen again, that cheeky little chip causes so much chaos between Lukic and Rajkovic rather.
Another corner for Eriksen, this time on the right-hand side. Fist in by Eriksen. Rajkovic has lost it, and it's over the line, but Rajkovic has won the free kick. He and Vind on the goal line there, and Francois Letexier has said that Vind bars Rajkovic into the back of the net, and the goal has been disallowed.
Yeah, that was certainly meant. I also think that the ball's gone out in the process, but certainly that flat ball, you see Vind is trying to push the goalkeeper back out, so they're trying to find that near post area. He's saying it's not a foul, but regardless, the ball had already gone out because of the way that Eriksen has tried to whip it. Wasn't quite flat enough, went out and then came back in.
Yeah, it's a goal kick, not a free kick anyway. That's a good spot, Courtney. 23 minutes played. 0-0. Don't forget the sports bar coming up on Talk Sport later on following the action. Chance for you to have your say with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. And at the moment, both games in Group C are goalless. England 0, Slovenia 0. Over on Talk Sport, Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Here on Talk Sport 2. And now Serbia have a free kick. Jonas Vind penalised on this occasion for holding back Pavlovic.
And initially does really well. The little flick round the corner doesn't quite come off. He can't get round Pavlovic, so tries to drag him down instead, and the referee spots the infringement. But again, as soon as Serbia win it back, struggle to keep possession, and sort of a recurring theme certainly within this first 25 minutes, and you do wonder how are they going to get themselves up the pitch if they keep giving the ball away.
Højlund finding Vind, and now wide towards Bar on the far side. Denmark have played the more presentable football so far, that's for sure. At the moment, I think Serbia are just sitting in, waiting to see what happens. Højlund claims he was body checked midway inside the Serbian half, but nothing given by the French referee. And now Mitrovic will win a high ball on the far side above Anderson, but it's all very scrappy, and Denmark, wearing all red, had the ball back.
I tell you what, Nigel, that was Milinkovic as well. He's got to be really careful, because I do think he left a little bit in on Højlund there, and already being on a caution, we mentioned it so early in the game, he's got to be more careful than that.
Denmark with 61% of the possession so far, all of the attempts on goal, all of the corners. 25 minutes played, but it's still 0-0. Eriksen helps it on towards Højlund again, but it's headed in field by Mihailovic. And now Gudeli has support from Bjelkovic, and it's all the way back to Predrag Rajkovic, who's already made one good save for Serbia. The high ball again, but Mitrovic is winning absolutely nothing in the air above either Anderson or Christensen.
So isolated, and it's not a surprise so far. We know that it was going to be a little bit of a cagey game. You can't try and flood bodies forward too quick, Serbia, but equally, if that's the case, got to try and play through the thirds a little bit more. Give Mitrovic a chance, get a better ball into him rather than just pelting a ball from 60 yards at him and expecting him to try and bring it down.
Bjelkovic on this near side almost plays in Mitrovic down the right, but it's cut out by Andreas Christensen, and it will be another opportunity for Serbia to build. We're watching a replay of Milinkovic shoving over Højlund. Kasper Hjulmand, the Danish coach, was claiming there was an elbow in the face of his striker, but Milinkovic, already on a yellow card, Really testing the patience of the officials.
Yeah, certainly. And in another game, at another time, a different referee, we could have seen a very different outcome. So he's certainly treading a tightrope at the moment.
Now, Kuhlman, the challenge comes in on the far side from Pavlovic, and a yellow card has been shown this time for the subsequent challenge by Jonas Vind on Pavlovic. So Jonas Vind did catch Pavlovic. He's not one of the Danish starters on a yellow card coming into this game. They are Miele, Vestergaard and Kuhlman, but Jonas Vind now joining Nikola Milenkovic in the book.
That's harsh from the referee. It's certainly a foul, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's a yellow card. He's just trying to use his body to shield the ball as it comes in, and he's trying to spin Pavlovic. Contact between the two players. I think it's Vin sort of steps on the top of Pavlovic's foot, but there's certainly no intent in there.
And you're listening to Euro Game Day live on TalkSport 2, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now. Milenkovic for Serbia. Wide to Pavlovic. A high ball forward, seeking out Sasa Lukic down their left. It's cleared by Anderson, but they run out of play by Bar, and it will be an attacking throw-in for Serbia on the far side, which Zivkovic will take. Quickly in towards Pavlovic, back towards Zivkovic. The cross in, looking for Mitrovic, beaten to it though by Christensen. But here is Bjalovic seeking out Mitrovic again, but he's getting absolutely no change out of those three central defenders, and he doesn't there because Vestergaard will head the ball clear.
I think he's really going to struggle tonight. I think he's going to be a frustrated centre forward. As I mentioned earlier, Serbia's game plan and philosophy, the way they play, you know what it is. They want to get the ball out wide, get good balls in the box to Mitrovic, but Vestergaard is going to be so happy with that. I think he's a defender. His weakness is being on the turn, his strength is coming, being strong, winning balls, and at the minute he's certainly winning that battle between himself and Mitrovic.
Mitrovic at the moment is really on the fringes of the game. Of course, he's the captain, he's the player they're looking for leadership, but I think that header down there in the challenge with Christensen was his first touch, not just in the penalty area, but possibly inside the Danish half.
Yeah, and for me, we've mentioned the crosses in the box, but it's got to be a little bit different. So, look, you're not going to completely change the way you play, but for Serbia, can you get the ball into the box early? Can you whip it on the floor and give him a chance to be able to get something on it in the air? He's not won anything yet.
Now, there is another challenge on this near side. Hjulmand is the player who has been booked, and he would be out of a round of 16 game for Denmark. Catching Ivan Ilic on the edge of the penalty area. Ilic got the ball away, and Hjulmand lunging in. I'm not sure how much contact there was, but when you go to ground and you're sliding like that, you're giving the player the opportunity to at least ride it, and then the referee has a decision to make.
Yeah, and referees will talk about intent and aggression of the challenge, and certainly Hjulmand there, I think, is a little bit out of control. Slides into the ball. I agree with you, Nigel. I don't think he makes any contact with the player whatsoever, but I think the referee there has gone on intent rather than what happened in the challenge.
So Morten Hjulmand will be suspended for Denmark should they make it through to the round of 16. Now Højbjerg on the far side. Half an hour played on TalkSport 2. It's 0-0. Denmark with the game's best opportunity so far. And now Eriksson coming forward again, the player who had it. Wide towards Bar on the right. Bar slipped into the area looking for Højlund, and Pavlovic taking no chances. Gets there first to divert the ball behind for a corner.
I think Rajkovic there's a little bit disappointed, because I think he looks like he calls for that, wants to come and collect it. The miscommunication between himself and Pavlovic means that now they've got to defend the corner.
The Netherlands, the highest ranked third place team at the moment. If Serbia draw this, I don't think that will be enough. Here is Højlund who fires in the shot towards the near post, and it's held on by Rajkovic.
Well, they're getting closer, they're probing, they're trying. It's a good shot from Højlund, but it's one you'd expect the goalkeeper to save. There's power behind it, tries to just nestle it in that near post area, but if you were Rajkovic, you'd be very disappointed if you let that slip through your fingers.
Of course, 4 third place teams go through. The Netherlands are already guaranteed a place there. Slovakia have 3 points. They've only played twice, of course. They'll finish off tomorrow night. Hungary have their 3 points following the win against Scotland and a -3 goal difference. And at the moment, Slovenia are also in there with a 0 goal difference as Serbia try and come forward now. So Croatia will be out. We'll see what the Czechs do tomorrow night. And at the moment, 2 points for the -1 goal difference would not be enough for the Serbians. Kilman back towards Christensen once again. And now Kjøjberg. 0-0 with 32 minutes played. And it's been fairly stodgy stuff overall, but Denmark have been the better side.
Yeah, they have, but maybe the story so far of them in the tournament not creating more opportunities, not taking the chances that they have created for all their good possession and little intricate pieces of play.
Mitrovic has been held by Vestergaard midway inside the Serbian half, and it will be a free kick for the Serbs. 12 minutes to play in the first half. 0-0 here, 0-0 in Cologne between England and Slovenia. And you can hear that game over on TalkSport. We'll get highlights at half-time, although at the moment that may be a fairly short tape. Cleared away by Ilic for Serbia. In towards Mitrovic, who again is unable to hold the ball up.
Well, he's had to dip in 5-10 yards into his own half. He's got a player from the midfield that's locked onto him. Vestergaard did well actually to communicate that passing on. Ends up when he turns, he's got 3 players round him and 2 more to beat if he can beat those 3 that are already round him. So it's a real tough ask, and if he's dropping in that deep, then someone needs to make that run in behind him into the space, which no Serbia player from the midfield or that forward 3 did.
Christensen finding Mjæle. His ball forward though was a poor one, but Milinkovic missed it, but he was grateful that both Pavlovic and Gudeli were behind him. And the white shirts looking to move forward now on the far side with Lukic, who comes in field, arms outstretched, saying, look, where are the options, where is the movement?
It's very static from Serbia, and I think that's one of the issues I was looking at with my analysis and pre-match. There's sometimes a little bit of a lack of a plan B for Serbia. If it doesn't work, if the long ball or the crosses into Mitrovic doesn't work, or he's having a game where he's struggling to hold it up, they don't really have another way of attacking effectively.
4 more games to conclude the group stage tomorrow night over on TalkSport at 5. It is Ukraine against Belgium. Here on TalkSport 2, Slovakia against Romania. That's the group where all 4 teams have 3 points currently. And then at 8 o'clock, the Czech Republic against Turkey will be on TalkSport. Georgia, Portugal will be on TalkSport 2. Portugal have already won the group. Everything else is up for grabs. As Barr has it for Denmark now. Infield to Vind. Hjulmand ahead of him inside the centre circle, but Kjøjberg takes over. And it's wide towards Eriksson, who has been absolutely everywhere for Denmark so far and also had their best opportunity.
And he always wants the ball, Eriksson. He knows how influential he is to this team, and what I've liked a lot from him is the way that he starts a little bit higher, almost with Højlund, and then he drops off into the pocket. Just played the ball first time round the corner, and you see him and Højlund certainly got a very good relationship in terms of in general, but that passage of play as well.
Rasmus Højlund scored 7 times in the qualifiers. And those are all of the international goals he's scored so far. And Denmark are a team in form, only one defeat in 14, and that was in Belfast against Northern Ireland at the end of the qualifiers when they were already guaranteed a place in the Euros. In contrast, Serbia with only 4 wins in 13 and only 2 clean sheets in 14, and they qualified in rather mediocre fashion, it must be said, 4 points behind Hungary. They twice drew with Bulgaria, who finished bottom of the group, and they got through with victories against Montenegro and Lithuania home and away. But it's not how you get there, it's what you do when you're here, and at the moment they are going out, it must be said, and they are going out without too much fanfare, despite the passion and noise of their supporters.
And the only positive they've got really is the fact that Denmark haven't really put their foot to the floor and tried to break the deadlock. They're quite happy keeping possession, keeping control of the game, probably because they feel that Serbia aren't posing much of a threat so far. Now, we know football, that can completely change, but as it stands playing like this, you don't see Serbia putting the ball in the back of the net.
Eriksson infield to Højbjerg, and now Højlund inside the centre circle for Denmark. 37 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Still goalless as well in Cologne between England and Slovenia. As Denmark try and build again with Vestergaard. Of course, as always, there is a strong English flavour to this Denmark squad in terms of the clubs. Eriksson wide towards Barr, slid in towards Højlund, and then Vind with the shot on the stretch, high over the top, and it was a good chance.
It was a really good chance, and I think, yes, he slips, but I think that's because he's rushing it. Quick 1 and 2 pass play. Clever here from Højlund, the way he flicks it back, knowing his teammates behind him. Yes, it's on the bounce a little bit, but he just rushes it, he loses his standing foot, and it flies way over the bar.
And a frustrated reaction from Kasper Hjulman, the coach, because he knows that was a really good chance. And all of the chances in the game so far have been for Denmark. Now Velkovic on the near side for Serbia. Into Lukic, who quickly transfers it wide towards Pavlovic, and down the line looking for Zivkovic, but the pass was behind him, straight out of play, rather summing things up for Dragan Stojkovic and Serbia so far. And there are 1 or 2 frustrated looks and disappointed looks from the Serbian fans, as we saw last night with Italy. 1 goal can change everything, but at the moment it's a fairly grim watch.
Yeah, we know how quickly football can change with just 1 goal, and I mentioned the looks on the face of the Serbian fans, but I think there's I wouldn't say nerves, but maybe the Denmark fans just want a little bit more from the team. They're happy with what they're seeing, the quick passing, the possession, they're in complete control of the game, but 1 more goal from Serbia completely changes that, the way that the game feels. So they'll want that comfort blanket of the goal, both the players and the Denmark fans.
Now Vestergaard flips it wide to this near side, and Højbjerg. And he's a player who knows this stadium incredibly well. And this is 80th cap for Denmark this evening. And he's still only 28, Pierre-Emil Højbjerg, so he could be setting a few records later in his career. Now Vind on the edge of the penalty area. Eriksson back towards Hjulman. Barr. Eriksson again. 4 minutes to play in the first half on TalkSport 2. 0-0. A full house in Munich, but they're being rather quiet so far, really epitomising what we've seen.
Initially at the start of that play, it's fantastic centre-forward work from Højlund, the way that he backs into the defender, he gets side on, so he's protecting the ball, uses his strength and his outside foot to lay it back into Vind. It was very good from him.
Jæler now for Denmark. His low ball into the penalty area, initially cleared as far as Kjellman, but wide towards Anderson. And if it was a cross, it was a shot, I'm not too sure, but it sailed into the arms of Rajkovic.
It just needs to be more deliberate from Denmark in that final third. And it's difficult because when they gain possession of the ball, especially from the back, Serbia, they sit in, they get in a good defensive shape and it's hard to break them down, but I want Denmark to move that ball a bit more tempo and more deliberately to try and shift that Serbian defence.
Now Pavlovic, wide to the far side. It's a good turn from Samazic and a good ball as well for Serbia. Wide to this near side and Mihajlovic. Mihajlovic hoisting in the cross, which is deep, but it's taken down by Mitrovic. Almost falls for Zivkovic. Bar will clear the ball away. The final touch, though, as the challenge comes in from Zivkovic, was off Bar, and it will be a throw into Serbia in front of all those Danish fans on the far side. 2 minutes to play in the first half. And Serbia have offered so little going forward, but maybe now. Lukic. Back to Zivkovic. It's a nice turn from him. Pavlovic with the cross in. Mitrovic was the only white shirt waiting, and Vestergaard leapt in front of him to clear.
And every time the ball goes into the box, he's got at least two players around him. Vestergaard certainly the one that's keeping the most eye on him, and then depending what side of the pitch is, it's either Anderson or Christensen, one in front, one behind, and it's just so difficult for him to get any sort of purchase on the ball, Mitrovic.
No, we can maybe criticise his lack of movement, but it's a lack of service as well he could point to.
Yeah, it certainly is, and when the ball does come in the box, it's not overly deliberate. It's just almost flung into the box, hoping for the best, hoping he can make something of it. Always aerial as well, as I mentioned earlier. Can it be maybe a cutback? Can it be along the floor to cause a bit of chaos with that back three? But it's just flung into the box, no purpose behind it. He's got so much to do, Mitrovic.
There have been 5 goals in this group so far, and no addition to the score sheet so far this evening, either here or in Cologne, as Pavlovic comes forward now for Serbia. Wide to Zivkovic, and the flag's up for offside against Mitrovic, and he kicks the ball away in frustration, and it will be interesting to see if he picks up a yellow card there.
Yeah, it will be. It's frustrating. It wasn't actually him that was offside, it was his teammate. I think it might have been Zivkovic, and I think that's why he's frustrated. He's found himself in a good position, dropped off on the edge of the box. He's thinking, right, I'm in range to hit this. The next thing he knows, the flag goes up.
I'm not sure he has been booked, and we're into 1 added minute. Denmark 0, Serbia 0, England 0, Slovenia 0. The story so far in Group C at Euro 2024 on the TalkSport network. Milinkovic hammers the ball to safety on the far side for Serbia. Mitrovic in a wrestling match with Anderson, but Serbia win possession. It breaks kindly now for Lukic. He can turn, and he's got support in field. Ilic. Mihajlovic on his outside on the right. Ilic, though, comes in field to the left. Dedeli. He can hit them from long range, but it's square to Jelkovic, and he puts it straight out of play.
The lack of quality on the ball from Serbia has certainly been their downfall today, but this last minute or so, this little bit more urgency from the Serbians should serve a reminder for Denmark that while it's 0-0, it's never comfortable. If it stays like this in the latter stage of the game, they'll expect more of that.
Well, that's half-time, but a double change here with Jovic and Tadic coming on for Serbia, and Andreas Skov Olsen will also be coming on for Denmark at the start of the second half. And really, Serbia had to do something because they were so anemic going forward in that first half.
Yeah, they had to, and it doesn't happen very often, does it? 3 changes at half-time, but it probably shows for both sides that it wasn't good enough, that something needs to change quite quickly in this second half, and they've looked to the bench, and Vind as well. He's the player going off, so with him on a caution, that might have been one of the other reasonings behind him coming off.
And we're seeing the Serbian changes now. Tadic coming on to win his 111th cap. And Luka Jovic ended his long wait for a goal right at the end against Slovenia. Of course, the Milan striker now, formerly with Real Madrid. And it's a sign that Stojkovic is going for it for Serbia, and that's something they have to do. Mitrovic has stayed on the field, so those are attacking changes made by Serbia as they get the second half underway. Nemanja Gadeli is one of the players who has gone off, so the defensive screen has departed, and Lazar Samazic has also gone off, although he barely saw the ball, barely had a pass in the first half.
He didn't early in this half. There's a bit more aggression, but it's gone over the top. I think it's Mitrovic is chasing the ball back. Can't quite see who it was, but there's a push on the defender. And Schmeichel's coming out as well to clear the ball. The ball had long gone, and I think there's a big push in the back, so he's starting his half as he means to go on.
I forgot Kasper Schmeichel was playing. We've seen so little of him. But he clears downfield now, defending the goal away to our left. 0-0. This will be enough at the moment for Denmark to finish second, and Serbia will be going out. They've not won in their last 7 games in major tournaments, as Mitrovic also comes in here, and there was a challenge on him inside the penalty area, which was late. The Serbian fans, mainly behind the goal, were complaining and appealing, but it was Vestergaard and Mitrovic who slid in, and neither got anywhere near the ball.
No, they didn't, but this is what I'm saying about Vestergaard. In the air, he's excellent, he's tall, wins the ball very well, and he's strong, and on the turn he's slow and he really struggles. And don't get me wrong, Mitrovic isn't the fastest player, but he's got a bit of pace, got a bit of power, and you see there Vestergaard is struggling. He does just about get a toe on the ball in the end, but that should be the way forward for Serbia. That should be a positive sign for them to say that's how we carry on attacking in this second half.
Yeah, credit to Vestergaard. He did actually get a touch on that as he went through, but he was at full stretch. Now an opportunity for Højbjerg at the other end, but his route to goal is blocked by Milinkovic, and it's hammered away on the far side. But an early cross back into the penalty area. It doesn't quite fall for Højlund. Zivkovic will chest the ball down and turn on the far side to clear. But now Bar for Denmark with the cross into the box, looking for Højbjerg, and Serbia will clear the ball away again.
Certainly both teams already started this second half with more urgency than they did the first. Yes, it was quite a frantic start to the first half, but very much all in the middle of the pitch, whereas both teams already have been in the opposition's final third.
Now an opportunity for Skov Olsen to come in field and play it wide to this near side, and Bar the low ball into the near post right across the 6-yard area. The clearance actually takes a deflection off Skov Olsen, falls kindly for Serbia. Mitrovic will now battle for the ball on the halfway line. He was being pulled back there by Joachim Andersen. He appeals to the referee Francois Letexier, but no free kick was given. Maybe Mitrovic was slightly unfortunate there.
Yeah, I think he was, but going back to that Denmark attack, as I said in the first half, it's got to be down that right-hand side. Bar is making some fantastic runs, but for me the frequency in which he was getting on the ball wasn't good enough. This time they find him, it's a good ball in the box, but in the end it's just a little bit behind, isn't it, the Denmark players? The ricochet doesn't go their way.
Zivkovic does well to keep the ball in play on this near side. Pavlovic with the cross in, and at the near post Bar will divert the ball behind, and in the 49th minute Serbia have their first corner.
And it's one of those, I think, if you're a defender and you're not sure, you have to get something on it. I think in hindsight Schmeichel could have come and collected that. Whether he got a shout Bar from Schmeichel, I'm not sure, but Schmeichel certainly seemed a little bit frustrated.
Corner kick for Serbia. They have to score, they have to win this game. Tadic with the delivery. High to the far post, nodded down by Milinkovic, but Denmark will get the ball away. Eriksson, though, believes he was caught by Lukic, and the referee agrees, and it will be a free kick for Denmark, midway inside their own half. And already they're just looking to linger slightly over the restarts because a draw suits them. Serbia have to go for it.
Yeah, but I think playing for a draw is always a very dangerous game. It only takes a second, a mistake, a moment of brilliance from Serbia, and it completely changes the complexion of the game. So for me, and that's probably the centre forward in me talking, but you'd rather be ahead, have that cushion, have something, a lead to defend, rather than playing for the draw at 0-0. It's very dangerous.
Barr plays it in field, clipped forward by Kuhlman. Now Højbjerg into the path of Eriksson, quickly forward to Højlund, just outside the penalty area, unable to ride the first challenge, but it falls kindly for Højbjerg. Højlund takes over again, wide to Skov Olsen down the right. He comes in field, left foot shot from him is deflected behind off Milinkovic, and it will be a corner kick for Denmark.
I tell you what, I think that was goal bound. He does really well, drops the shoulder, gets it on his left foot, and he's trying to curl it in the far corner, and I think if it doesn't take a deflection, it's certainly heading that way, certainly on target. It's an important deflection that takes it out for the corner.
51 minutes played. Denmark playing towards all their supporters away to the right. The corner short, Kuhlman fires it in, volley clear at the near post by Mitrovic, and it will be a throw-in for the Danes. Their team now is Schmeichel in goal, Anderson, Christensen and Vestergaard the back three. Barr, Kuhlman, Højbjerg and Mæhle, with Eriksson now in midfield, with Skov Olsen looking to support Højlund in attack. The Serbian team, Rajkovic in goal, Veljkovic, Milinkovic and Pavlovic the back three. Jalovic and Zivkovic are in the wide areas. Ilic now takes more responsibility at the heart of midfield, with Lukic, Jovic and Tadic supporting Mitrovic in attack.
Schmeichel very nearly got caught on the ball there, playing out from the back. Jovic does really well, and this time he's pressing from the front with Mitrovic, which we haven't seen from Serbia in the first half. He has to just dink it over the top of Jovic, so Michael goes out for a throw-in and put themselves in danger for no apparent reason, Denmark.
Barr hammers it forward now. Højlund will chase, but Milinkovic will get there first and clear the ball wide to the far side. Veljkovic with a long ball downfield, but it's over the head of Tadic, and it will be a throw-in. So 0-0 in both the games at the moment in Group C. England will win the group, Denmark will finish second and Slovenia third, and probably go through as one of the third place teams with 3 points and 0 goal difference. And you're listening to Euro Game Day live on TalkSport 2, presented by Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Mitrovic bounced off the ball by Anderson. Now Skov Olsen gets a poor ball forward from him, quickly cut out by Ilic, and now slipped into the penalty area. Jovic is still there. Oh, it's an own goal! An own goal by Joachim Andersen. But the flag has been raised and it won't count. Luka Jovic, the player, flagged offside, and Serbia have been denied.
They've looked so much better already, Serbia, with Jovic up partnering Mitrovic. Anderson is breathing a sigh of relief, although I'm sure it'll be checked. But Jovic, I think he just starts his run that little bit too early, not even half a yard. Devastating for Serbia, but Denmark, for me, as I said, playing for a draw is dangerous. That is a massive warning sign.
Well, one or two things being thrown by the Serbian supporters behind that goal. Jovic, the player who has been flagged offside. Certainly Ilic was in an offside position ahead of him, but he didn't get the ball. But I think Jovic was still leaning in behind the last defender.
I think it's positive sign. And actually earlier on in the play, Jovic is the one, he drops in, has a touch. Mitrovic is in and about as well. They're working off each other really well, and then he makes that run from deep, Jovic, and then it causes a bit chaos between the defenders in the midfield. Whose player is it? Is the midfielder going to drop in and take it? Does it get passed on with the defender? Doesn't quite work seamlessly for Denmark as it has done in the first half, and they were nearly made to pay for it.
Anderson plays it forward now, looking for Højlund, who was battling away with Milenkovic, who has been booked in this game. And there's been a real rugged edge to this match right from the start, and both Højlund and Milenkovic had hold of each other there, and they both brought each other to the ground.
Yeah, it's been an interesting battle so far. I think Milenkovic has just about got the better of Højlund, has not managed to get in front of him as he likes normally. Powerful runner.
Now Højbjerg tries to deliver a crossing on this near side, but it's blocked by Jovic, and Denmark quickly get on with things. 10 minutes into the second half on TalkSport 2, 0-0. 0-0 across the board in Group C so far this evening. And we've seen so many thrilling games in this tournament so far, but it's fair to say not too many of them have been in this group.
No, certainly not, but this one's, I don't think it's going to be a thriller. There's not going to be 6 goals from now, don't get me wrong, but we're starting to see more signs of life in this game for sure.
Well, it's a free kick for Denmark on this near side, just in front of Dragan Stojkovic, the Serbian coach. Eriksson will take it in towards that near post, and there's a complete miss kick from Ilic as he tries to clear, and it slices out to this near side, and it will be a throw-in for Denmark, which Bar will take. But we have seen signs of life from Serbia in the second half in an attacking sense, as Mitrovic hammers the ball to safety. But if he's doing that, then there is nobody anywhere near the halfway line, and it's all the way through to Schmeichel.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the worry. I think that we saw it a lot in the first half as well, where Mitrovic keeps dropping him deep because he wants to influence the play, wants to get on the ball, but at least now, obviously that defending there was a different situation, but certainly looked like with Jovic, there's a bit more of a relationship, more players around him. Tadic is trying to join as well, so he's getting a little bit more joy.
But now Mæhle for Denmark down their left, finding Højlund, who fires in the cross. And there was only one red shirt inside the penalty area, and once it was beyond him, it was always going to head out on this near side.
Just getting the fancy offside replays on our monitors.
Yeah, the automated offside, and Jovic was clearly offside. It was a call that the assistant had to make, but it was the right call.
Yeah, it was, but it will serve as a reminder for Denmark, certainly, and a bit of positivity for Serbia to know that if you hold that run for half a second, then you can find yourself behind that Denmark defence.
12 and a half minutes played in the second half. Denmark 0, Serbia 0 on TalkSport 2. Coming up tomorrow, some big games, not least in the group where all 4 teams are level on points. Ukraine against Belgium at 5 on TalkSport. Slovakia against Romania at the same time on TalkSport 2. And then at 8 o'clock here on TalkSport in Group F, the Czech Republic against Turkey, and Georgia against Portugal will be here on TalkSport 2. And there is going to be another change made by the Danes. Now it's Rasmus Højlund who comes off, and Kasper Dolberg coming on. Not 26 years of age, but he's been around a long time. He was once a young star with Ajax. This is 49th appearance, scored 3 times in the last Euros, including twice against Wales in Amsterdam.
It's not quite been Højlund's night. It's not fallen for him, don't get me wrong. He's worked hard, he's tried to run off the shoulder, got himself in some good areas, but there's just not been a lot of quality in the final third into the forwards for both sides. Yes, Denmark have had more of the possession certainly, but still not created really big chances that you'd be expecting him to put away.
Goldberg was spotted by the same scout who took Ibrahimovic to Ajax in the previous generation. Not quite had the same level of success, but he's on the ball here and he's challenged, but it falls kindly for Højbjerg. Now Skov Olsen on this near side, the right. Back towards Bar. Skov Olsen again, and the cross is deep. Shaping for the header at the far post was Mjela, but Serbia will clear. Now Højbjerg, and Christensen fires in the shot with the outside of the right foot, always rising.
Yeah, it was, and it was difficult because there were defenders in front of him, so you've got to get that little bit of elevation, but then to try and bring it down quick enough to find the target was always going to be difficult. That right hand side for Denmark is becoming more of a threat, whether it be Bar down there or other players joining in the attack. Skov Olsen was down there too. Certainly an issue that Serbia need to look at.
And you're listening to Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport 2. There's Mitrovic, almost finds Jovic inside the penalty area, but it's cleared away by Joachim Andersen. A high ball back in again. Zivkovic beaten to it in the air by Bar on the edge of the Danish penalty area. Now Skov Olsen. Good challenge though from Pavlovic, who does well to find Milinkovic.
He does extremely well. It's classy defending, the way that he uses his body, just steps across. He doesn't panic, he doesn't lunge in, comes out with the ball.
Denmark 0, Serbia 0. An hour played. England 0, Slovenia 0 over on TalkSport. And you can have your say on what's happened in Group C tonight on the Sports Bar over on TalkSport at 10 o'clock. Bar forward for Højbjerg for Denmark. Wide to Skov Olsen, tries to play it down the line for Bar, but it's blocked. Højbjerg again though. Eriksson on the edge of the penalty area. Bar, and then the shot from Hjulmand. Well, we saw him score from a good deal further out against England, but from the edge of the penalty area he hammers it high over the top.
It's another one that just flies right over the bar, leaning back. I like the initial build-up to this by Denmark, but sometimes I think maybe too many passes in there. It's nice, it's intricate, and then I'm thinking, can you get it in the box? There's that extra pass, leads to another one, and taking shots from the edge of the box. When if you play it a little bit more quickly, you can be creating opportunities inside the box with a higher chance to be scoring or getting shots on target.
And you're listening to Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport 2, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now. Vestergaard for Denmark tries to link up with Eriksson, but in the end it's all the way back towards Rajkovic, who I have to say, the Serbian goalkeeper has had very little to do in the second half.
No, he's not, and even in the first half there's a couple of crosses he came to collect well. That save down to his left-hand side from Højlund, but I think he would have been very disappointed if he'd let that slip through his hands. So both keepers, I mean, Schmeichel has been almost a total spectator, but both keepers have had very little to do.
A goal for either side guarantees their progression. Denmark don't necessarily need it, but Serbia certainly do. Lukic now for Serbia. Infield to Tadic. Tadic on the edge of the penalty area, bounces off a couple of challenges. Forward now towards Jovic. Jovic spreads it wide towards the far side. The first time crossing to the penalty area. Cleared away at the near post by Christensen. And now Mjela for Denmark again. Højbjerg. There could be a breakout here for Denmark if they play the right ball, and Eriksson does. Wide to this near side and Skov Olsen, but Denmark just choose to retain possession, and Hjulmand stood there. He made that burst from midfield and never got the pass.
Exactly, and Skov Olsen, he makes a good movement down that right hand side, but plays the ball backwards when there's balls and opportunities in front of him, and can't help but think that Denmark are going to rue these opportunities where they elect to keep the ball rather than try and attack.
Bar is closed down by Lukic on the edge of the Serbian penalty area, and the ball spins high behind for a corner kick to Denmark. 63 minutes played. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. England 0, Slovenia 0 over on TalkSport. England winning the group at the moment, with Denmark in second and Slovenia going through in third, it seems. Eriksson with the corner kick and the header. A good connection at the far post from Vestergaard, but it's into the arms of Rajkovic.
Yeah, he does well. The fact that he's not marked and it's a free header will be worrying for Serbia. Luckily for them, he just is rising about 10 yards out. Difficult opportunity, gets a good contact on it, but just can't generate enough power to put it in the back of the net. But that should be a warning sign for Serbia that they've got to do better with their marking from set pieces.
Earlier today, a shock in Berlin. Austria beating the Netherlands 3-2. And the French also dropping more points, 1-1 against eliminated Poland. Mbappe with a penalty for the French, Lewandowski with a penalty for the Poles. So Austria win the group, France second, Netherlands third. And it could be the Netherlands against England, potentially in the round of 16. We'll have to wait and see. Austria will play the second team in Group F, which currently is Turkey. And the French could meet anyone from Group E. Well, they'll play the runners-up, but all four teams, Ukraine, Belgium, Slovakia and Romania, level on points. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock on TalkSport, Ukraine against Belgium, Slovakia against Romania, here on TalkSport 2. And then at 8, the conclusion of the group stage, the Czech Republic against Turkey on TalkSport, Georgia against Portugal, who have won that group, here on TalkSport 2. Now Bar for Denmark, wide to this near side, but Zivkovic will get there before Skov Olsen and Dusan Vlahovic. I would suggest the final attacking card for Serbia is about to come on.
I think it's a shame there for Bar. Finds himself in a good position. The ball into him is good, but he's got to take that on the hard turn on the back foot. If he does, he's on the edge of the box with a fantastic opportunity, but yet again, touch lets him down a little bit, and I think his first thought is to go backwards, and that's what surprised me about Denmark today. I know that they like to keep possession, they don't freely give it away, but I think they need to do better in those final third areas.
Miela coming forward now, down the left-hand side, beyond Mihailovic, and here is Højbjerg. Højbjerg challenged by Mitrovic. Hjulmand wide towards Eriksson. And now Hjulmand on the edge of the penalty area, and again he lets fly right-footed. We've seen him do that already in the competition, notably against England, but again it's miles over the top.
Yeah, and I understand that when you've scored a goal from range and you're good at that sort of shot, that you're going to keep doing it, I understand, but when you've done it already in the match a couple of times, it's not coming off. You've got to be a bit more clever, and it seems that the more he goes on, the higher tariff opportunities he's trying to take on, and he's letting his teammates down.
Well, Serbia have taken off their one remaining defensive midfielder, Ilic, and brought on Dusan Vlahovic of Juventus, who scored 18 times in the season just gone. So now they've got Mitrovic, Vlahovic, Jovic and Tadic, along with Lukic, all on the field of play.
Well, there's no doubting what the thought process is now. They've got to get that goal. They're going to be expansive going forward. Obviously, they've got to be careful about the opportunities they leave open, but I think I said it maybe 5 or so minutes ago, I think Denmark might regret being so passive, because it looks like that Serbia are the ones that are maybe trying to take control of this game.
Sasa Lukic is now holding just in front of the back three, with the two wing-backs also looking to push forward. Tadic with the high ball in, looking for Mitrovic, beaten to it in the air, doesn't quite fall for Vlahovic inside the penalty area, and it's hammered away by Joachim Miela. Got it down by Dolberg, but it's straight to Tadic. Two former Ajax teammates.
Just feel the momentum shifting where Mitrovic couldn't even win a header in the first half. He's competing, he's winning headers. Yes, it doesn't go to his teammate, but you can see there's a bit of a renewed confidence in him, because he knows he's got more players around him, more attacking teammates, and it's a good moment for Serbia. They've got to now take advantage of this momentum that's starting to swing their way.
Well, at some stage they've got to have a go. Well, it seems that moment is now. Jelkovic, one of three central defenders, also joining in with the midfield now. Back to Lukic. slid into Jovic and wide towards this near side, and Pavlovic. The crossing deflected off Skov Olsen, headed away at the near post by Joachim Andersen. He was challenged by Vlahovic. Andersen wanted the free kick, but the referee says no, and it's a throw into Serbia on this near side.
They'll get more confidence because of the attack in Serbia, but also they won't feel defending that their backs have been against the wall. It's not like they've been absolutely carved open and Rajkovic has had a string of saves that he's had to make. It's not been the case. Yes, they've been dominant in possession, Denmark, but they've not had too much to show for it.
Milinkovic plays it back towards Vjelkovic on the far side. And we have just over 20 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. And we still await the first goal of the night at the end of Group C. England 0, Slovenia 0, Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Bagels all over the place at the moment. But Serbia here have got so many attacking players on the field, they have to go forward. Tadic on the right, closed down by Mela, but a clever back heel from him. Has managed to release Mihailovic, the early cross into the penalty area, headed behind at the near post by Vestergaard, and Serbia have a corner.
And all of a sudden, Denmark are looking a little bit shaky. Where those moments they've high pressed well, they've won the ball back, they're starting to come out second best, and Serbia the ones that seemingly got all the impetus.
Corner kick for Serbia. Many of their fans stripped to the waist behind that goal, urging their team on. Tadic with the corner into the near post. Vlahovic shaping for it, but headed away by Vestergaard. Lukic all the way back towards Mihailovic. Now Zivkovic. Plenty of open field midway inside the Danish half. Lukic wide towards Tadic again. And Serbia here choosing not to play it straight back into the penalty area. And they're trying to rediscover some sort of shape as Tadic holds it on this far side.
Actually, I don't mind that. The game management is quite clever. We spoke about the fact that yes, they're going to have to go for it. It could leave them open, but they were clever there at managing the ball, keeping possession to try and mount another attack.
Zivkovic brings it in field for Mitrovic's flick on, but doesn't receive the pass, and now Eriksson. Denmark looking to move forward on the counter-attack with Skov Olsen out on the left-hand side. Eriksson demanding the ball on the edge of the penalty area, but back to Hjulman. And now Miela on the left. The crossing looking for Dolberg, who catapults forward as he's challenged by Milinkovic. Well, he's looking for the penalty. Milinkovic, who's got blood on his shirt, looks perplexed. The goal kick has been given.
I think it's the one where Dolberg completely tries to make the most of this. Yes, there's a little bit of contact, but the contact that you expect between a centre-half and a centre-forward. Why he's flung himself forward like that, I do not know.
Well, Kasper Hjulman was appealing for the penalty kick, but nothing given, and we are back underway. Tadic now for Serbia, down the right, but once again they lose out, and here is Koiber. And Denmark now are pouring the red shirts forward. Miela down the left, stumbles under the challenge of Mihailovic. And Eriksson cleverly wins a throw-in, and there will be another change here for Serbia. And Filip Mladenovic will be coming on to replace Srdan Mihailovic. Mladenovic, who started the previous game, is now the final card played by Dragan Stojkovic. And the Panathinaikos midfielder joins his team with 17 minutes to play. And we still await the opening goal. And it's a similar story in Cologne. But Denmark at the moment will be happy with this, but it's a real high-wire act to play for a point in a game like this.
Yeah, it is, and this is where Denmark, they've got to show their superiority in terms of that technical ability, the game management, more experience, and you know that now it's going to be attack after attack from Serbia as much as possible, and you've got to use that to your advantage and try and exploit the vastness of the shape, because when they are going forward, Serbia, they're flooding bodies, they're leaving themselves open, but Denmark haven't exploited it as yet.
Free kick for Serbia on the halfway line. Lukic going back towards Milinkovic, and on the far side Jelkovic will find Tadic, who comes in field. And Denmark here dropping very deep when they don't have the ball. Pavlovic. There'll be a double change for them very soon. Thomas Delaney and Victor Christensen will be coming on. Tadic again on this near side. Lifted wide towards Jelkovic. And Serbia, they've got so many attackers on the field now, but they're still rather laboured in possession. Zivkovic has moved over to the right. Mladenovic on the left now. Pavlovic plays it forward. Mladenovic will win it back. And now the challenge on Vlahovic. No free kick given. And Eriksson will bring it forward now for Denmark. Midway inside the Serbian half. He's got support from Hjulmand. Skov Olsen to the right. Dolberg waits inside the penalty area. Now Barr. And Joachim Andersen takes over. 15 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Denmark 0, Serbia 0. And there's no doubt this will be up there or down there with the worst game in the tournament so far, but we could still have a dramatic finish. Dolberg with a cross in. It's very deep, gathered well by Miela. Back again towards Højbjerg. Højbjerg square to Skov Olsen, edge of the penalty area. Has to go back out towards Højbjerg again. He digs in the cross, but it's headed away by Lukic. Jovic is back defending, stabbed into the area by Højbjerg, but he's penalised in the end, and it will be a Serbian free kick with 14 minutes to play.
I think there's no doubt that Denmark are playing for the draw. See Hjulmand there in the build-up. There was a point where he stood on the ball for, it felt like an eternity, but 5 or 6 seconds, which in football in that area in the final third is an eternity. Lack of movement in front of him. He doesn't want to pass it. The players in front of him don't want to get on the ball. It's perplexing at times.
Barr and Hjulmand are coming off for Denmark. And Victor Christensen, who started the previous game against England, a player who is on the books of Leicester but helped Bologna to qualify for the Champions League last season in Italy. He comes on along with Thomas Delaney, who wins his 80th cap, a player who will find these surroundings very similar. The former Werder Bremen and Dortmund player, now with Sevilla. 13 minutes to play, 0-0. And now Tadic on the far side for Serbia. They've got all these attacking talents on the field now, but they've created absolutely nothing.
When they're playing out from the back, there's sort of a line of 5 going forward, but the ball's into them either haven't been good enough or the movement is quite static, where initially the changes seemed to make a difference. They were playing the ball out wide, getting good balls in the box. There were third man runs. That seems to have stopped from Serbia, and it's almost like, let's just pump it long and try and get something on the end of it. It's definitely not working.
Jelkovic back towards Lukic, and you can hear the urgency from the Serbian supporters here. Mitrovic is also down, way off the ball, and I think he's inside the Danish penalty area. Well, he's clutching his abdomen, where he was bumped into by Andersen, and then Andersen had another go at him inside the penalty area.
Yeah, he did, and another dangerous game to play. Andersen, I think his elbow connects with the midriff, the ribs of Mitrovic. There was absolutely no need. The first one, it's a coming together, they're jostling, I understand that, but Andersen's walking a tightrope now with that second one.
Well, Francois Letexier is talking to Bastien Dankert, the VAR here, and they'll be looking at this. we're just watching a replay. The first bump was outside the penalty area. The second contact from Anderson on Mitrovic was inside the box. Now, Anderson then had words with Mitrovic, who went down dramatically, of course. I mean, the ground shook when he hit the turf, but there's no need for Anderson to do that.
No, he doesn't need to put himself in that position. They were jostling before, 6 of one, half dozen of the other on the initial challenge, but you see there Anderson, his elbows out, digs in the ribs of Mitrovic. I think he's probably going to get away with it.
Denmark have had 10 shots in the game. Serbia have had 1. And they have to win with 10 minutes to play. Forward towards Tadic on the right-hand side. Tadic will come in field, clips in the ball, looking for Mitrovic, but again it doesn't find him. It's headed away by Christensen, and they've done very well at getting bodies around Mitrovic whenever a high ball is played into the penalty area. And now it's one back by Delaney, who just turns to hammer the ball downfield. Dolberg will chase, and Dolberg clashes with Lukic. I think both had hold of each other there, and in the end it's brought clear by Serbia. The onus on them to attack here. And now Vlahovic does well inside the penalty area, wins it back. Mitrovic goes for goal. Right foot, side foot, well wide, and it was a good position.
Really good. The one player on the pitch you want that ball to drop to. It's Mitrovic. Poor defending from Denmark. Don't think they see Vlahovic on the blind side. He does really well to win the ball. Touch back into Mitrovic. Perfect weight for him to hit it first time, but he just hits it flat. You need to curl that a little bit so it's coming back towards that far post, but he almost gets too good of a contact on it, flies past the far post, and he knows that's a big opportunity missed.
Cleared long downfield and all the way into the arms of Rajkovic, the Serbian goalkeeper, and we have 8.5 minutes to play. Crowd well in excess of 60,000 inside the stadium, but it's very quiet. It's really tense, but it really reflects what a poor game it's been. But Serbia still have it there for them. They know a goal, they go through, and Denmark know if they concede, they probably go out. Now an opportunity for Christensen to bring it forward for Denmark on the far side. Back towards Eriksson. And it's really, really poor in possession from both sides going forward at the moment. And both teams are really nervous, you can see that, but someone just needs to show that calmness inside the penalty area and that cool head. Maybe Serbia now. Pavlovic going forward on this near side. Pulls it back, but it's behind Jovic on the edge of the penalty area, and Denmark bring it clear. Then it's won back by Lukic. Højbjerg has presented it to him. Vlahovic wide towards the far side, and Zivkovic. Tadic takes over on the edge of the penalty area. Tadic with the cross in towards Mitrovic, who wins the header, almost finds Vlahovic, does well to keep the ball alive. It comes back out towards Tadic. Tadic with another cross in, Mitrovic going down inside the 6-yard area. He's convinced he should have a penalty. Joachim Andersen tells him to get up, and it's a yellow card for Aleksandar Mitrovic.
Oh, there's a lot going on here. The initial header, thought Mitrovic should have done better with it. He does the right thing in terms of trying to head it back across the goal to the right-hand side where it's come from, but I think he gets completely the wrong connection. Vlahovic does extremely well to keep the ball in and going, and then that ball in from Tadic. There is a tug on the shirt of Mitrovic. Whether VAR think it's enough, whether it's clear and obvious that the referees missed it, that is very interesting.
Well, Mitrovic is always in the ears of the officials, and he's been shown that yellow card, and he's continuing to talk here with Joachim Andersen, and the Crystal Palace man has an arm around the shoulder of Mitrovic, and then Mitrovic talks to him, and then Anderson says, "Oh, come on," and walks away.
I can understand though why Mitrovic is incensed, because there is clearly a tug on the shirt. Now, whether that is to go down dramatically as he does, maybe that's why there's the argument, but there's certainly contact, there's certainly a clear tug on the shirt, and that's why Mitrovic is so incensed.
And now Kasper Schmeichel has been told to hurry things up. Various things have been thrown as well. Plastic beer cups and even a toilet roll, which is really old school. And the Serbian supporters have been warned about throwing things onto the field of play, as Vlahovic has the ball in field. Denmark just hammer the ball to safety. Still 0-0. With 4 minutes of normal time to play over on TalkSport between England and Slovenia. England will win the group with 5 points. Denmark and Slovenia level on points. The tiebreakers will come into play. At the moment, Denmark are second in the group, and they will go through. And Slovenia, with a 0-goal difference and 3 points, will be in a very strong position to join them in third. There's a back pass now, just testing Schmeichel from Anderson, but he does well with a very good first touch. And here is Victor Anderson finding Christensen for Denmark. And wide to this near side of Mjela, who is popping up on the right now. Skob Olsen in support, but Mjela goes himself, clips in the cross towards the far post, and arriving at pace was Goldberg, but some desperate defending sends it behind for a corner.
Very, very good defending. It needed that touch. Mjela, I'm not quite sure that's what he envisioned, because it actually looked like he was going to nestle in the back post for a second. Zivkovic does extremely well to get contact on that. Goldberg was coming in quickly at that far stick.
I think the final touch actually was off Goldberg in the end. Both he and Zivkovic were high kicking at the far post, and they collided. But it was an opportunity for Denmark. And we have just over 4 minutes to play. And it's very, very tense as Sergej Milinkovic-Savic comes on for Serbia to replace Sasa Lukic. Gets a final word from Dragan Stojkovic. And another Al Hilal player from Saudi Arabia joins Mitrovic on the field of play. Well, the corner kick has been given. I think the final touch was off Goldberg there, but it's an opportunity for Denmark to finish things off. Eriksson with the corner in towards the near post, and Rakovic came and got nowhere near it, but he was fouled according to the referee, and it's a free kick.
Gets away with one a little bit. I think it's Anderson that's steaming in potentially. Makes the foul. Serbia now, after this Denmark change, will have a couple of minutes to try and save themselves.
Yusuf Poulsen coming on for Denmark to replace Christian Eriksen. Poulsen, of course, has spent a decade now with Leipzig, joined them in the German third division, and has now played for them in the Champions League, of course. And this is 83rd appearance. But Serbia are running out of time here, and I wonder if they will leave this stadium tonight in Munich with regrets, because they've just not been good enough. They've been a long way short.
No, they haven't. They've not shown enough intent for me. There was a period after they made the first set of substitutions where they looked a bit brighter, but still it came to nothing in the final third. And overall, especially for this game, I don't think they can think that they're going to be hard done to, because they just didn't do enough to win the game, in my opinion, especially with Denmark. I think we're under par tonight. There was an opportunity there for them.
90 seconds of normal time to play. Poulsen challenging in the centre circle with Jelkovic. We had late drama last night when Italy saved themselves. Can Serbia do something similar here? Tadic, finding Milinkovic-Savic, flicked on by Vlahovic onto the roof of the netting, and it's a goal kick.
It's a difficult opportunity, trying to head the ball from that sort of distance. There's not a lot of pace on it. 12 yards out, maybe 13, just in front of the penalty spot, closer to the near post, trying to flick it on. Was always going to be difficult to beat Kasper Schmeichel from there.
Novak Djokovic watching on, and we are into the 90th minute, and it looks as though he can start his preparations for Wimbledon now, because Serbia will be going home.
There's a bit of a doubt for that, isn't he? The injuries, issues of his own, so I'm sure once this is potentially done, if nothing changes, he'll be back with the physios and the rehab teams, try and get himself ready for the All England club.
Into added time in Cologne, still England 0, Slovenia 0. Over on TalkSport, and you can have your say on what's happened tonight or what's not happened tonight on the Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Conde over on TalkSport at 10 o'clock. Tadic here for Serbia. His cross though has been blocked, and there will be a minimum of 5 more minutes. Zivkovic does well to play it back towards Rajkovic. Yet again, Serbia came into a tournament with high hopes, and they've not even flattered to deceive this time. They've been rubbish.
No, they've not got the 8 minutes that Italy had yesterday. 5 minutes to try and save themselves, and that was only because of all the substitutions that both teams have made. I think it's been from both sides a really poor game, a lack of quality in the final third, and even intent to get in the final third. Both teams, I think, will be really disappointed with their performances.
Still 0-0 in Cologne. So England with another performance which I'm sure will prompt more questions than answers, as Joachim Andersen hammers the ball to safety for Denmark on this near side, and Serbia have a throw-in. Serbia have got to score. If they score at this stage, they are through and Denmark will go out.
Why they're going backwards? They need to get the ball in the box.
Well, Slovenia's still drawing. They're on 3 points, so Denmark know they can't afford to concede here. As Jovic is caught out on the edge of the penalty area, but Vlahovic working hard, wins it back and clips it wide to the far side, where a leaping Tadic controls on the chest. Plays it down the line, and Tadic now with an opportunity to cross inside the penalty area. Tadic onto the left foot twice, squares it, Milinkovic-Savic with the shot, and it's tame in the end, and it's into the arms of Schmeichel.
Good opportunity, but there was a lack of conviction in the shot for me. When it falls to him on the edge of the box, I think it's a bit of a scuff as well. He's trying to caress it into the near post, that bottom right-hand corner, doesn't get the right connection. For me there, you've got to get your knee and your hips over the ball, strike through it with some conviction, and just happily Kasper Schmeichel there collects that ball and wastes a little bit of time as well.
There was 1 0-0 draw, the French against the Dutch in Euro 2024 before tonight. Group C looks like it's serving up 2 more. But Serbia, with 2 minutes of added time left, coming forward again. They have to get forward. Mladenovic losing out though to Miela. It comes back towards Jelkovic. Kasper Hjulman, the Danish coach, is barking out the instructions, which must basically be get back at this stage. Now Tadic on the right-hand side for Serbia, wriggles away from a challenge. The cross into the penalty area, and Schmeichel does well to judge the bounce, and he claims, and he falls to his haunches.
I don't mind that from Tadic. I think he does well. It's whipped, he's got bags of pace on it. That's itching for someone to run across the middle of the box. They've got the far post runner and the near post runner, and I think it's Vlahovic that is the closest, but just doesn't make the run. And at this point in the game, you've got to be absolutely busting their gut, throwing everything at it to try and get to the ball, and he just jogs towards it.
High ball played forward again for Serbia. Headed away initially. Jovic is challenging for it. Vlahovic. And in the end, Vlahovic has been penalised for a shove. And with just over a minute to play, Denmark have a free kick.
I think if Denmark play their cards right here, that is the last opportunity. All they've got to do is keep this ball for a minute.
It is all over in Cologne. England 0, Slovenia 0. We welcome listeners from TalkSport to the closing stages in Munich, where we have just over a minute of added time to play. It is Denmark 0, Serbia 0. Denmark are going through at the moment in second place. Serbia are going out at the end of what has been, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, a dreadful game.
Yeah, it's been a really poor watch. Denmark have controlled in terms of possession, but for both sides in terms of quality opportunities created, it's been few and far between, and Serbia was so poor in the first half. They've tried, they've changed it, they've brought more attackers on in the second half, but still the creation of quality opportunities has been sadly lacking.
Hammered away by Joachim Andersen for Denmark. Serbia have all of their strikers in the squad on the field of play, but they have run out of time.